Leopard Writers. So we have done a lot of work this week in Writer's Workshop on working on our personal narratives, and I have just loved getting into Seesaw and seeing how you all have made progress each day over what we've learned. This week, and so yesterday and every day this week, we've learned that personal narrative writers can generate personal narrative story ideas. We do this by making lists, okay, of either people, places, and things, first and last, special events in your life. Okay, so some of these things I only shared with kindergarten, first, and second graders, and some of them I shared also with third and fourth and fifth grade. So I'm sharing them all with you right now so that you have some ideas about what you could work on going forward. The second thing we did was we learned that personal narrative writers plan their stories. We do that by storytelling out loud first, then we sometimes tell that story across our fingers, and then we use what we said first happened, next happened, then happened to plan it across the pages of our book. And we could even sketch the pictures across the pages of our book. Another way that we might plan our story, if we don't have a book that has multiple pages, is that we might jot a timeline or a story mountain, like what happened first, next, then, after that, the beginning, middle, and an end. Or we may further develop that story mountain by adding not only what happens, but also what we were thinking and feeling, that inside story on the story mountain as well, so that we make sure to include that when we go to draft our story. We also learned about how to try on leads, that we can read like a writer to be inspired by what we see authors doing all around us, and then try on what those other authors did in our writing, using that inspiration to guide us to draft 3 different leads, and then pick the one that we feel like is the best fit for our story, that will most engage our reader and make them want to read on. Lastly, we worked on drafting. So, and when we were drafting, we were really thinking about how we can zoom in to show, not tell, turning that seed story into more of a watermelon. And remember, we do that by making a movie in our minds, going in slow motion, stretching it out like a piece of bubble gum, and then telling it bit by bit by bit, right? So today and Monday, what I want you to work on is wherever you're at in this process, I want you to keep working, okay? If you already feel like you got through this process and you're done, we have a saying in writing that when you're done, you've only just begun, okay? So I want you to think about the feedback that you've gotten this week from me or your teacher, and think about, is there a certain part of what I just shared that you think, you know what, I could go back to that, and I could continue to develop that piece because my teacher had given me that feedback, and I just haven't had a chance to do it yet, okay? Or you have a choice. Some of you have asked questions about, are we working on the same one story idea through all of this? You may have been. I modeled doing that for you when I modeled, but you also, if you already did this with one story, you could choose a different seed moment from your list. And you could say, you know what, but I also kind of wanted to write about that thing. And you could go through this same writing process with a different moment, Friday and Monday. Okay, that would leave you with 2 different mini drafts, if you will, and then you could pick the best one of that, which one you really want to publish and put out there in the world, because boys and girls, that's where we're headed, okay? I'm really excited about this part, and it's either going to be next Friday or maybe that Monday of the following week. We are going to share our writing school-wide, okay? So at the end of this, you are going to have a published personal narrative that you will share with others in your class or others in your school. And that's where we're headed. But I'm just going to give you Friday and Monday to keep working on wherever you're at in that process and refining your story or starting and doing it for another story. And then by Tuesday, we will be working on choosing that one story and publishing. And what is it that we can do to fix that story up, fancy that story up, and get it ready to share out with the whole world. Okay? So I will continue to see you on Seesaw, as will your teachers, and I can't wait to see how you continue to progress. So just keep sharing pictures with us of whatever it is that you work on Friday and Monday, so that we can continue to give you feedback on how you can continue to grow as a writer of personal narratives through this process. All right, I'll see you there.